I'd like to, it's a hard act to follow, but I'd like to, and that's the essence of the case that we have to put forward here. I would like to, however, go back to the appointment tape, because that's, to me, that's a recorded conversation with Srila Prabhupada beyond the vagaries of people's memories. And a delegation was present, so it wasn't particularly relative to the persons he was talking to. So on November 1st, I sent out a circular to the temples about this tape and pointed to this line, which to me I felt was decisive. Prabhupada discussing Ritvik, Satyarup Das Goswami, but he does it on your behalf. Yes, he says, that is formality. Because in my presence one should not become guru, so on my behalf. So that's just one line there about Ritvik. That is formality. Because in my presence one should not become guru, so on my behalf. So this is citing, again, this is a citation that we have here. It is the custom that during the lifetime of the spiritual master you bring the prospective disciple to him. Formality means custom. And in his absence or disappearance you can accept disciples without any limitation. This is the law of disciplic succession. So from here we see when Prabhupada is asked about this Ritvik, he explicitly ties this Ritvik system to his presence. That's in this same tape. Now there's a response to this from Vedic Village Review, a long response, but I think the core of it's here. It is said here, I think Karnamrita Prabhu wrote this, he, that is myself, makes much of Srila Prabhupada's referring to his presence and concludes that there were Ritviks precisely because Srila Prabhupada was present physically and not otherwise. Well, that's true. That's what I say, and I do make much of it. But then Rabindra was assuming that these persons were actually fit to be gurus and that that would be their function when Srila Prabhupada was not present. This conclusion can only be arrived at if this section is considered out of context. However, to begin with, he has neglected the first exchange of the conversation. How will initiations go on in your absence? Prabhupada, I will appoint some officiating acharyas. So here the case, there's actually 2 points that are being made. One is that I ignore the beginning of the conversation. Well, this is because this argument is really based on taking the beginning of the conversation as the whole conversation, in effect. That when the question is asked, how will initiations go on after your departure? Prabhupada says, yes, I shall recommend some of you, after this is settled up, I shall recommend some of you to act as officiating acharyas. That's it, case closed, there it is. But the conversation goes on. The conversation goes on. And if you take this as Srila Prabhupada's answer, then you have to account for that immediately afterwards, yes, that is formality because in my presence, he contradicts himself.